Thinking that it could use a little upgrade? Get top dollar for your trade-in at Minnesota Motor Company. Why trade in now? You will maximize your trade-in value with a fair and accurate appraisal and can use your trade-in value as a credit towards your next vehicle, possibly lowering your monthly payments. Contact the sales team at Minnesota Motor Company for a free, no-obligation trade-in appraisal.
Minnesota Motor.
South Pebble Lake Road, Fergus Falls.
Keeping you company out on the lakes, the Minnesota Twins and News Talk 1250 AM KBRF.
Hey, Twins territory, it is Chris Atterbury. The Twins hosting the first place Chicago Cubs. Should be a whole lot of fun, and let's hope we don't hear "Win Cubs Win" all series long. Twins have Simeon Woods Richardson on the mound today. Join me alongside Dan Gladden for the call. 6 o'clock lineup card, 6:40 first pitch on your home for Twins baseball.
News Talk 1250 AM KBRF. Depend on it. It's Morning Talk on News Talk 1250 KBRF, brought to you by Pioneer Care and Fergus Falls Monument Company. Now, here's Mary Dolan and Dave Bishop.
Good Tuesday morning. It is 10 after 9, and it's a beautiful day there, Mary, because right now it's not raining. Are you with me?
I'm with you. I just had to, I couldn't get the audio to stop on my phone. So I thought we don't need additional audio in the background. So anyway, yeah, happy Tuesday morning. Everybody made it through Monday after a long holiday weekend. So cheers to you. And yeah, those are tiring weekends, I think.
Those are tiring weekends.
And I didn't really do anything, and I didn't have a whole house full of company like a lot of people did. I hate to say this, but I'm starting to feel my age a little bit.
No.
I know.
I'm starting to feel my age, too.
Really? That makes me feel a little better.
I did a lot of work out at the lake, and then I went golfing, and my knees have not recovered.
Oh, I know. And, yeah, I don't know what it is, but I get home from work in the afternoon, and I should, be out on the boat, or I should go for a bike ride, or I should do something. And then I sit down at the patio, and that's as far as I get. So unless I have to mow or something, I'm kind of lazy at night, and I hate that.
Hey,
so
I do want to make a quick mention. It's something we had in the news this morning, especially if you take Fur and County 1, you come in that direction, the Ottawa Lake Road. There is that intersection's basically closed for the next 3 days. So there's going to be detours around it. You can still get to the YMCA through the frontage road, but don't expect to, slide on through County 1 up into Fur, because that's just not going to work.
Okay. So you can't get to County 1 that way?
You can't get, there's detours around it, and you're going to have to follow the detour because they are.
There's no real easy way to get to County 1 if you can't get off Fur.
No, it's easy.
Is it?
I've seen the maps.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been on it, but if it's closed, that's a little harder.
Well, yeah, you just shoot around the Y, go around the YMCA.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And so it's one of those things. They're working on the roundabout.
That's not too bad of a detour. No. I tell you what, my whole drive in every morning is detour. Wherever I drive, there is a detour. So.
I have the red light.
Oh, okay.
I have 7 lights between my house and here.
Oh, goodness.
And
you don't hit them right, you're in big trouble.
There's many a days where I've hit all 7.
Well, yesterday I had to text you and say, okay, took a little longer today. You never, I guess, and I need to build in an extra 10 minutes, which is what I did today, because you never know what that detour is going to look like and who gets in front of you and
that light.
Well, and I don't go that way.
Okay.
I go around a different way, and I actually come in on 108 East, but then you have to turn off and kind of go through the neighborhoods. But then you get back to 59, and if you hit it a green light and everybody is coming down 59, it takes you a long time to take that left and get back on the road. So. And that's what happened yesterday. It was very long, and so it must have been busy. And if you don't know what we're talking about, this is Highway 59 on the north side of Pelican. There is an actual red or green, there's a red or green light there, and they can only send traffic in one direction.
Yep.
So if it's red, what you're doing is waiting for traffic to come the other way on 59, and then they get through, it turns green, and it's your turn. But sometimes I waited 15 minutes one day, and I'm like, yep, I don't have the patience for this. So I turned around.
Yeah.
And that's the one and only time I ever tried it. So
one of the interesting things that they've been working on Highway 210 east of town is Underwood has got the four-way stop now,
right?
which I absolutely agree with. I don't like the way they did it. I agree with the stop sign because that is a very dangerous and deadly intersection.
It is.
And then they went and decided to screw up the 78-210 Battle Lake intersection and take out the right turn lanes.
Oh, no. Why?
Exactly. And so I know there's a lot of work to get that unmessed up. But
Wow.
the interchange at Underwood has you basically going into the turn lane. So they eliminated the turn lanes there, too. So it's...
Oh, boy.
I don't know who's working for MnDOT or who's engineering, but they are...
We haven't been super happy with some of the things you and I talked about. Main Street, Pelican Rapids. I think they ruined that. Can't even park on the street anymore. So I feel sorry for those Main Street businesses. They got, taken out all of last summer, and now it's really hard to park on the street because they narrowed the street so much.
Well, they did that in Battle Lake, too.
Well, and they put that dumb thing down the middle.
Yeah.
It's good for absolutely nothing. It's wide enough you could park a car on there. I will never understand the thought behind that.
The thing I'm excited for is the triple roundabouts out here when they do 94.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. Get ready for a roundabout goodness.
Yeah.
You get a roundabout. You get a roundabout. Oh, Walmart, guess what? You get a roundabout.
Everybody gets a roundabout.
And that's going to be interesting, people trying to get to Walmart when that bridge is gone.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah.
Minnesota summers, road construction, road construction. Yeah. Well, anyway, I guess we have to put up with it to some degree, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, it is Tuesday, so that could be the feel good right there. You made it through Monday.
Made it through Monday.
Especially a Monday after a long holiday weekend, and we're getting closer to Wednesday, which then we can look ahead to the the Wednesday special at the American Legion. So that's
looking forward to that. Chicken quesadilla.
Chicken quesadilla this week. I know that sounds good, doesn't
really
it?
Good.
It's really funny. Somebody I work with every every Monday, they come to me. Okay, what's the Wednesday special? And I just say tune in at 9:35, and we'll tell you every single Monday. So they tune in, and then they decide who's going to get the Wednesday special for everybody in the house. So the Wednesday special is pretty popular for sure.
Well, the cool thing about it is I can call over there and say, order whatever the special is, or even if it's just regular food. And by the time I get over there, as soon as I pull up, they bring it to me, and then I drive home, which is on that side of town, and they eat it.
I know. Same with us. And they're really good at that to go. That's for sure. Well, guess what started today? And typically I wouldn't even announce this because we want people to shop local. But I'm going to give you one more reason to shop local, because today began Amazon Prime Days. And we talk about this every year. I want to say it's a bunch of bunk.
You really don't save on anything you want.
Well, okay, so here's what I did. And I had a similar story last year, if I recall right. I had ordered something for my daughter for her birthday or Mother's Day. I can't remember which. Anyway, and it was a real hit, and I've given it to several people. And I was going to order it again for a hostess that is hosting us at the end of July at their lake place. And so I thought that it'll be perfect for her. So I'm going to go back and order that again. So I went this morning to order it thinking, well, maybe Prime Day might get a deal on it. Nope. It was $26.95 when I ordered it at the end of May. Today, it had jumped up to $42. All right, same thing.
Ooh.
Same brand, same exact thing. Jumped from $26.95 to $42. So don't tell me that they're not screwing you on Prime Days. So be careful. And all the more reason to just drive downtown, go to your place of choice, see it, feel it, touch it, buy it, and you don't have to wait for it to come. You don't have to return it when you don't want it, and you're not going to get screwed on the price just because they tell you it's a sale day.
Exactly.
That just gets me. This very same thing happened last year. Something went up by, I mean, that's a big margin.
Yeah.
$26 to $42 for the same exact thing. And if I remember from last year, it took a number of days after Prime Days for that same item to go back down in price. So it's not like Prime Days are over.
Well, they got to hide it.
They do, but
They
not,
can't make it that obvious.
well, it's pretty darn obvious. Anyway, so I'm boycotting that. And I would, so again, another great reason to go
Shop local.
To go and shop local for sure.
Plus, the thing I like about shopping local is you get to see it, you get to feel it, you get to touch it.
I know, for sure, absolutely. And I do know, I did, after I had ordered it, I found, I had looked at a place where it's a covered charcuterie board, and I know that mine was purchased from the market. So
Yep.
I went to the market, and they didn't have any. She said, we can't keep them in here, but she said, we will order more. So, so in the meantime, though, I needed it for this birthday, and so I did order it on Amazon, and now I'm going to go back and see if they've got it, and just say, you know what, well, I couldn't wait because the birthday was coming, but anyway, just one more good reason to shop local.
Exactly.
Okay, so sadly, the number has reached over 100 in the number that of people have died in Central Texas due to flash floods. Kerr County reporting 75 fatalities, and I think at the printing of this and what I read this morning are bigger numbers, sadly. So I'm not going to go through these numbers because I don't think they're accurate, but more storms actually expected in that region, prompting President Trump to declare major disaster, and he plans a visit this coming Friday. Concerns have been raised about the National Weather Service's effectiveness, and here's the part that really, really, I was going to say makes me sad, but it just plain old makes me angry, that the left and a lot of the Democrats now are blaming President Trump for taking money away from the National Weather Service. So they are suggesting that the National Weather Service didn't have the right amount of people to handle this storm, when in reality, there were additional people at the National Weather Service over the 4th of July weekend.
And they placed warnings out. They placed emergency declarations out.
Right. And so where they were lacking, from what I read this morning, and this came from I'm trying to remember, either the governor or no, the mayor, I believe. And he said, what we need sirens, and they're woefully old and out of date. And he said that could have helped. Now, would it have averted this in the middle of the night? Maybe not. I don't know.
It's out in the middle of nowhere. You're not going to have sirens in the middle of nowhere, because they
Right.
talk a lot about that Camp Mystic that got wiped out.
Yes.
Which, oddly enough, Laura Bush actually used to be a counselor there.
Oh.
So that's kind of interesting. George Bush's
Oh,
wife.
sure.
And their daughter Jenna was talking about it, her mom's time at that camp, and a lot of her friends went to that camp when she was younger too. But I mean, I was a camp counselor. I've worked at 2 different camps. There's not a siren near us, so you've got a NOAA weather radio. So when that
Right.
tricks off, you got enough people that have those that you act.
I saw yesterday there was at least one camp who posted on Facebook that, you know, due to what happened in Texas, they just wanted to remind parents that they do have a very, very intricate plan in place in case of bad weather.
Yep.
And they are constantly monitoring weather. And they know it, and all their staff knows it like the
Yep.
backs of their hands, what they would do in a situation like that. Now, that's low country, you know, I mean, it's, and they're kind of known for this kind
flood,
of
yeah.
thing happening. Anyway, it just, it's just so sad. But the fact that we have to politicize this is even sadder, and I don't know.
I'm not
makes
surprised.
Not surprised, but it just makes me angry because, you know, we've got so many families and so many people hurting, and even if there wasn't a loss of life, there was probably a loss of their home. Just awful things, and children yet unaccounted for, and I just think, boy, this is not the time to make this a political statement. Can we just stand down?
And I'm pretty sure that camps in that area that did survive, or when they regrow or rebuild, they're going to go through additional training. I know one of the things weeks before we had kids, it was okay, train for tornado emergency,
Right.
train for missing child, train for fire, train for this. And we did a ton of training, and I think that they need, obviously, more of those NOAA weather radios.
Yeah.
I mean, because they were sending out emergency declarations.
Right. And I think there will be a lot of those things that will be upgraded and changed as every time that there is a tragedy like this. But anyway, I would rather see us show support to them and help them rebuild and help them determine going forward maybe what missteps were made, or maybe not even missteps, maybe just what do we need to upgrade to make sure this doesn't happen again. And clearly that will happen. Emergency rooms nationwide are experiencing a surge in tick bite cases.
I know somebody who got a tick bite, and
Really?
when she was at the walk-in, they said that they deal with 4 to 5 of those a day.
Wow. Well, the highest number of tick-related ER visits since 2017. The Northeast region has reported the most cases, according to data. Children under 10 and adults over 70 are at the highest risk, with the Fordham Tick Index rating. The bite risk in New York tri-state area, they say, is very high. So anyway, just kind of a note to self, if you've been
But Dita,
in the weeds, you want to be careful about that, because those ticks can.
make sure your
some bad
animals,
stuff.
dogs, cats, anything
Absolutely.
outside, make sure they've got their flea and tick
Right.
color stuff, and then, check your body when you get back in.
Absolutely. And let's see. Justice Department and FBI review of the Jeffrey Epstein case revealed no client list. Shocking.
That magically disappeared once again.
Yeah, we'll never know what that list looked like, or
No.
if
Too
who
many
was-
people said that list exists for it not to exist.
Yeah, yes. And video footage showed Epstein alone in his cell at the time of his death. However, there is 1 minute that is missing in the coverage.
Shocking. That's the minute he died.
And no new information was found, they say. So they're confirming that he did, in fact, take his own life. Whatever.
Hillary knocked him off.
But she's fast. 1 minute. All right, coming up on 9:30, break for the markets. We're back with more on Morning Talk.
Back with more Morning Talk with Mary Dolan and Dave Bishop. Brought to you by Pioneer Care and Fergus Falls Monument Company. After the markets on News Talk 1250 KBRF. Depend on it.
Today on Hot Talk with the Ox, right away Maple Grove Representative Kristen Robbins previews today's House Fraud Committee hearing with commissioners. Then hear the latest from the Texas flooding and the subsequent political blame game. At 4:06, hear what wine of the week Jeff has picked out. Then hear fellow Ox listeners' wines of the week on the West Side Liquor Wine Line. See you for Hot Talk with the Ox today from 2 to 5 on KBRF.
What's the ox say?
Community is important, and you'll find it at Pioneer Point. Spacious apartments, thoughtfully designed for older adults, provide the best in senior living. Heated parking and elevator access makes life easy. Your neighbors at Pioneer Point hold a welcoming, family-like approach to living. Choosing from an array of special features and options, you'll find many ways to define your lifestyle at Pioneer Point. Call or schedule your tour online today at pioneercare.org.
Local farmers. Lake Cabin Meat and Deli Company in Fergus Falls currently has open slots and accepting animals. They take the hassle out of processing and butchering your livestock. From custom cuts to expert butchering, they handle it all with care and precision. Serving Fergus Falls of the Lakes area, they're proud to support local farmers like you. Call or visit Lake Cabin Meat and Deli Company today to schedule your meat processing. Lake Cabin Meat and Deli Company, where quality meets tradition, on Highway 210 East.
Find out why the markets are moving. Get in-depth ag information with the Red River Farm Network on News Talk 1250 KBRF. Depend on it.
Good morning, stations along the Red River Farm Network. It's your 9:30 market update. I'm Tyler Donaldson. Grains trading a bit lower following yesterday's steep downward action here. EverAg market analyst Cole Weinkoff says corn's looking for some strength here in the markets following announcements on new tariff deals.
I think we're up to 74% good to excellent on corn. On the June 30th report, they did make a slight adjustment down on corn acres as a total, but just from last year, I mean, we're looking at 5 million more acres of corn. And so the funds, they kind of covered some of their short positions heading into a long weekend. And so this really, we didn't have any major weather concerns coming out of that 4th of July weekend. And so they kind of resold off and kind of starting that downhill slide that we tend to see this time of year. Now, I think $4 on December is going to act as some pretty solid resistance just from a psychological factor. It seems like coming out of a 4th of July weekend, just the volume that's moving out of this thing, and Packers have their margins have started to bounce back here, and so they're not looking to just completely get out of this thing. And so I think, I mean, the sentiment here in the office is maybe this thing's got one more little push here. We'll go.
You are listening to the Red River Farm Network.
Here's the latest from CHS Ag Services. Sales agronomist Cole Zimmerman with us from the Warren location. Cole, our beet growers are thinking about Cercospora, that first spray. What should be part of that decision?
Well, I would say the biggest thing, everybody's looking for good tonnage and recoverable sugar in their beets. And a big thing that helps out with that is just keeping up on your Cercospora spray programs. So I'd say a big thing is knowing how many passes someone intends to do and how you can plan out with your pre-harvest interval from there. And being at that stage of looking at doing our first pass for most people in this area, you typically like to do a triazole with an EBDC, like a Provosol or Inspire with like a Pencazeb product. Reasoning a person likes to try to stick with some of those triazoles with a longer pre-harvest interval just so we don't have to restrict ourselves to, obviously we won't be doing pre-pile for some time yet. So getting those 21-day PHIs out of the way is, in my eyes, the smartest move to do.
CHS Ag Services, providing solutions for your success.
Thanks to the American farmer for putting food on the plate, clothes on our back, and fuel in our tank. Your work is measured in acres, not hours. The Red River Farm Network is here to deliver farm news, markets, and weather information to the best farmers in the business. From Rugby to Benson and Roseau to Aberdeen, the Red River Farm Network covers agriculture. Go online to rrfn.com to find your local Red River Farm Network radio station. Podcasts are also available online at rrfn.com, iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify.
The Red River Farm Network is reporting agriculture's business with the markets, farm news, and weather information you need each and every day.
Again, hats off to you, Don, and the Red River Network. What you guys do, connecting your listeners to what's happening and people and telling stories. You guys are doing an awesome job at it, so thank you.
That's Greg Peterson, better known as Machine Repeat. The Red River Farm Network can be heard from Worthington to War Road, from Bismarck to Bemidji, 23 radio stations, and online at rrfn.com.
September wheat Minneapolis down 4 3/4 to 632.5. September wheat Chicago's even at 548 3/4. KC wheat's down 2.5 cents at 5.25. September corn's at $4 even, down 3.5 cents. September soybeans down 5.5 to 10.08. In Winnipeg, November canola is down $3.50 per metric ton at $693.30 Canadian. On the cattle side, August live cattle up $1.12 to $217.02. August feeders up $1.57 to $315.30. July lean hogs up 22 cents at $107.17. Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 60 points to 44,345. This is the Red River Farm Network.
Wherever you're going, we're going to the Otter Express.
Did you know Otter Express offers preschool transportation? Sign up now at otterexpress.com and submit by August 1st. Hurry, seats are limited, so don't delay.
We're available to all 998-3002. Just give us a call. Wherever you're going, we're going to the Otter Express.
It's time to celebrate aging in Fergus Falls. This community event is geared towards adults 55 plus and is designed to help attendees navigate the maze of products, services, and resources available in the Fergus Falls area. The Fergus Falls Celebrate Aging Expo, presented by Pioneer Care, is Wednesday, July 9th from 8 to noon at the Bigwood Event Center. Thanks to Annabelle Lee and Associates for the Fountain of Youth photo booth and Eye to Eye for providing reading glasses. Admission is just a $1 donation at the door.
I'm Jessica at the Fergus Falls Monument Company. I'm the first person you see when you come through the door, and I also talk to customers every day on the phone. Many of them find choosing a memorial ahead of time is convenient and works best when there is time to plan and think about it. Planning ahead not only gets you the everlasting memorial of your choice, it also helps your family through the grieving process. At Fergus Falls Monument, we can help you plan ahead and choose a memorial made right here locally. Call or stop in or visit us online at foreverstonememorials.com.
Keeping you company out on the lakes, the Minnesota Twins, and News Talk 1250 AM KBRF.
Hey, Twins territory, it is Chris Atterbury. The Twins hosting the first place Chicago Cubs. Should be a whole lot of fun, and let's hope we don't hear when Cubs win all series long. Twins have Simeon Woods Richardson on the mound today. Join me alongside Dan Gladden for the call. 6 o'clock lineup card, 6:40 first pitch on your home for Twins baseball.
News Talk 1250 AM KBRF. Depend on it.
Are you or any of your loved ones impacted by hearing loss? Do you have ideas on how the state can improve access to language, education, healthcare, employment, and more? We want your ideas. Visit mn.gov/deaf-commission to take the survey. Paid for by the Minnesota Commission of the Deaf, Deafblind, and Hard of Hearing. Aired by the Minnesota Broadcasters Association and this station.
Baseball fans and animal lovers, perk up your ears because this news is for you. On Sunday, July 27th, the FM Redhawks and the Humane Society of Otter Tail County present Fergus Falls Day. Over 100 fans will fill 2 buses, courtesy of Otter Tail coaches, and trot to Redhawks Stadium for a 1 o'clock game. Bus trip, reserved seat at the game, and a beverage, all for only $25 per person. Get your tickets while they last at 218-739-3494.
Minnesota Motor Company in Fergus Falls has the perfect Buick vehicle just waiting to take you on your next summer road trip. From the full-size Buick Enclave to the sporty Buick Envista, they have the perfect Buick for you. Minnesota Motor has made price reductions to many of the Buicks on the lot. So now is the time to contact their sales team and get you into a new Buick. Buick, exceptional by design.
Minnesota Motor.
South Pebble Lake Road, Fergus Falls.
It's time to celebrate aging in Fergus Falls. This community event is geared towards adults 55 plus and is designed to help attendees navigate the maze of products, services, and resources available in the Fergus Falls area. The Fergus Falls Celebrate Aging Expo, presented by Pioneer Care, is Wednesday, July 9th from 8 to noon at the Bigwood Event Center. Thanks to Annabelle Lee and Associates for the Fountain of Youth photo booth and Eye to Eye for providing reading glasses. Admission is just a $1 donation at the door. door.
Injured or ill and unsure about work? Minnesota Retain offers free expert help to get you back to work safely. Visit mnretain.com or call 507-284-4537. The contents of this ad were developed under Grant H421F240147 from the U.S. Department of Education. The department does not mandate or prescribe practices, models, or any other activities described or discussed in this ad. Paid for by Minnesota Retain. Aired by the Minnesota Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey, it's News Talk 1250 KBRF. Listen anytime, any place with the Fergus Now app on your phone. It is 9:39, and we're back out with Morning Talk, brought to you this morning and every morning by our friends over at Pioneer Care and at Fergus Falls Monument.
All right. Well, there was a story in the news that we didn't get a chance to get to on the first half of the show, so I'm just going to go there. I thought it was interesting. Remember the guy, Mamdani, is that his name? He
New York.
Convinced, the New York Democrat mayoral nominee. The press is trying to convince everyone that he is not, he isn't really anti-Semitic, that he isn't a terrorist supporting communist. They had their job kind of cut out for them there because I think he kind of professed to being both of those things. Well, now they have to convince the public that he isn't just a liar and an opportunist. They went back to his college records, and he signed up as African American, lied about his race. Like Elizabeth Warren. Remember when she said she was
Indian?
Yeah.
Native American?
Yeah. So anyway, isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, there would have been advantages for him, probably financial advantages. Going to school as identifying as a black person. So, interesting. All of those things are starting to surface, of course, already. So, anyway. Let's see what else we have for you. This is really frightening, and maybe I guess it's where we've come, but there is a study that shows that 6% of Florida teens carry handguns.
Wow.
That is a 65% increase in the last 20 years.
And is that legal?
Well, I don't know. They're talking about teenagers age 14 to 17.
That'd be illegal.
Yep, and the research based on Florida Youth Substance Abuse Survey. Anyway, that's where they came up with that number. While overall handgun carrying rose, carrying firearms in school decreased by 60%, and favorable attitudes towards carrying dropped by 39%. The authors emphasized the need for tailored prevention strategies, particularly focusing on female and middle school students to address the issue. With that in mind, whenever we have like a school shooting or something like that happens, typically it's the Democrats that come out and say, oh, we got to get
rid of the guns.
Get rid of the guns. We got to get rid of the guns. But what about what happens was it in Texas where the ICE agents were killed?
Yeah.
So no mention of we got to get the guns when an ICE agent is taken out, a border agent. Isn't it interesting that they're not crying for the guns to be...
Selective mutism.
Yes, I guess so. All right. Okay, children's health over nearly 2 decades. What are you going to bet? Obesity rates?
Going up.
Way up. And when I see, and this is all age kids, and I think, I don't know why I'm always looking for this kind of stuff, but it always strikes me when I see a group of kids hanging out, let's say, at the pool or downtown at like an event like Shop, Move, and Groove or Crazy Days or something like that. Or you see them at a ball game. You see them at the ballpark, and they're all standing in groups, but they're all on their phones.
Yep.
And I think, oh my goodness, just, put it away and just enjoy. Be in the moment. Just enjoy. I recently talked to a friend of mine whose mom was at Pioneer Care when my mom was there, and We had graduated together, so we kind of became reacquainted after all these years. And not so long after both of our moms had passed away, I had texted her and asked for an address. And I didn't get a reply from her for several days. And when she did, she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry for my delayed response, but I've been vigilant looking at my phone, thinking, she wants to make sure that her mom's okay and that she's not missing any calls or texts or anything from the care center." And she said, "Now that my mom is gone, I make it a point to just stay away from my phone a little bit and just start to enjoy some downtime." And I thought, you know what? That's great. And I applauded her for leaving her phone put away for a few days. And isn't it too bad we can't all do that? But I think of phone use and screen time. That's behind a lot of this obesity in kids.
It is. It really is. And they're not getting out and enjoying things. I remember when I was a kid, I was run ragged with all the sports that I played. I played every sport under the sun. So I always think about people. I mean, I had a Nintendo back when I was a kid, but I didn't have time to play it because I was either golfing, playing tennis, playing baseball, playing soccer, playing football. And then if I wasn't doing that, I was hanging out with my friends, playing soccer, playing baseball, playing football, doing all that stuff.
Yep. And I think and there's so much more even than just being sedentary that we have to worry about. And that is what they're doing online. And, being online and all these social media platforms, they can be awful.
Yeah.
And kids can get bullied easily, and just go outside and have some fun. I can hear Laurel Nelson's voice in my head when they put on that kids fishing tournament about a month or so ago. And she said, "I just want kids to get outside and have some fun outdoors. Get out on the lake, have some fun." And that was kind of their intent for putting that whole thing together. And I know that in the rules, it was like, oh, no cell phones at this, and they were all pretty little kids that were there. So, but even really little kids have phones these days. So sometimes, isn't it sad that we have to say, oh, no phones at this party,
Yeah.
But anyway, I think as parents, we just have to be really careful about how much screen time, because it's bad for so many reasons, and we keep hearing that, and we know it's true. According to this survey, this is dog owners. The average dog owner makes 27 decisions per month based on their dog. So, do you want to go out for dinner? Yeah, we'd love to, but the dog has been home alone all day. That kind of thing.
Wow.
I know.
Well, I mean, I guess I've had to leave early because, like, Jen was just on vacation. She took her and Adam and a couple of her cousins did a little, Mount Rushmore Medora run. And so there was a couple times where I'm like, well, I guess I got to go home for lunch because I got to let the dog out.
Well, yes. I mean, I certainly can see that. And I mean, we want people to take care of their animals for sure. But they're talking about so many people are just saying, oh, yeah, remember I said I would come and I RSVP'd yes, but because the dog isn't feeling well, I got to stay home. Or anyway, they say that 71% of the people that they talked to said that their life absolutely revolves around their dog. So what do you think about that?
I think they should feel shame that their entire life revolves around their dog.
I know. Let's see. And they said that they are spending an average of $172.60 more per year, every year, on their dogs.
I believe that.
And well, that's not hard. Vet bills, food, other essentials, just vet bills alone.
Yeah.
Crazy. You think healthcare is bad? Well, healthcare for your pet is pretty awful too. My goodness.
And I've talked about this dog for years. So if you're watching the stream, here is the rock star brainchild that is Jack.
He's so cute.
I mean,
see, now you shouldn't have shown him because he's so cute, and then people are going to hear you talk badly about him.
I'm on the post that this thing is on. The caption is, "If lights were on but nobody was home, what was a dog? Here's Jack."
Yeah. I have seen a couple of videos of Jack being sort of lazy, like when you were throwing the ball and he just sits there and like, huh?
I've got to find that video and
It's so funny.
find a way I can feed that through our thing where he just. I've got two videos that were taken the same day. One where I toss him the ball, he watches it go by, looks at me, and then just wanders off. And then the other one where I throw a piece of food and he catches it like a shortstop.
Oh, yeah.
He can catch. He's just.
Yeah, I don't feel like that today. Yeah, well, good for him. All right. Have you ever heard of this? It's easy to determine what I'm talking about. Sleep divorce. I didn't realize that there was a name for it. Separate sleeping arrangements for couples.
I've heard of this mythical thing, but no.
Really? Oh, my. I tell you what, I think couples, they feel badly about it, like, this isn't how it should be. But let me tell you, if you are kept awake every single night by snoring, you can't do it. You just can't.
I know
not sleep every night.
Every once in a while, Jen will feel that she's too, I guess, movable or just too jittery or something, and she'll go down and sleep on the couch. But
because she's afraid she's keeping you awake.
Well, she's either afraid of keeping her awake, or it's cooler on the main floor
Just
than it
got
is
to
on the
try
upper floor.
something different, yeah.
And we got a nice couch, and so she actually likes sleeping on that a lot. So there's a lot of times I'll wake up and I'll look over and I'm like, oh, where'd she go?
If this is you, you are not alone. Nowadays, they say couples are opting for sleep divorce due to reasons like snoring, or even if you have conflicting schedules. Somebody works nights or whatever.
I can see that.
Yeah, me too. Research suggests that sleeping alone can result in better sleep quality compared to sleeping together.
I would have agreed to that years ago, but like I said when Jen was on that trip, I didn't sleep worth a darn.
Really?
It's just you're so used to having somebody there.
Yes.
I mean, even though she's got her little Darth Vader CPAP mask on. And
Doesn't that noise bug you?
Not really. I mean, it's quiet enough, and then I've got my little fan on, and it's...
Isn't it funny? We all have little things.
We all have our little things.
Yeah, we all have our little things.
Probably the most annoying thing on my end is I like the room cold, like ice cold.
I would like the room. Yeah, me too.
And so Jen's like 18 layers on and 4 blankets, and I'm barely got one on. I'm going, I'm dying here.
Well, they are saying that despite potential stigmas, sleeping apart could lead to happier relationships and increased intimacy. So there you go. It's important to openly discuss and prioritize connection between you and your spouse. It's something you can't just say, well, I don't want to sleep with you. But I can't tell you how many, I wasted, I always tell you what a terrible sleeper I am, and I am. And I would wake up sometimes due to the snoring, and then I would get up and I'd go to the couch or another bedroom or something, and then I would lay there. It would take me another 90 minutes to get back to sleep. So right there, I'm losing a couple of hours every single night.
Oh, yeah.
And that is awful.
I was watching one comedian. He was talking about how in every relationship there are 2 types of people. There is the person who needs the melatonin, the fan, the takes forever to fall asleep. They sleep like a rotisserie chicken, always tossing and turning.
And I do. I'm no
me.
fun to sleep with either. So it's not. It's both of us.
So I'm the rotisserie chicken, and then the other person is asleep and snoring as soon as the head hits the pillow. That's Jen in a nutshell. I mean, she's just and I'm asleep. I'm like,
I would give anything to be like that. Sometimes I lay there. I just feel like I'm going to crawl out of my skin. I'm tired. But I start thinking of something, and then my mind just...
Oh, yeah.
Sleep. I get so I almost... while I look forward to going to bed, I sort of hate being there because there's so many things that keep me awake.
I look at it this way. I've started doing news again, so I've got to get up at a little bit before 5 to get in here.
Oof.
And so I'm running on like 2 hours of sleep tonight, or this last night, because I just didn't sleep at all.
Oh, isn't that awful?
Yeah.
And then you just lay there and think, I'm going to be so tired tomorrow. I'm going to be so tired at work tomorrow.
Well, it's just
that's the worst
I'm
part.
sitting there going, okay, what can I do to sleep? What can I go to sleep? Okay, it's too late for melatonin. It's too late for ZQL.
See, none of that works for me.
Oh, that stuff works really good for me.
But you shouldn't be taking that very often.
But, yeah, you can't take it often.
No.
And B, it is such a pain in the butt for me to wake up. I just can't kick it off. And so if I don't take it like at 6 or 7, I can't take it. And so it's like that window, and when I'm sitting there tossing and turning at 12:30, I can't do that.
Yeah, okay. Well, I thought I had a good feel good for you. Now I was looking at so many different things. I
The
lost
feel good
it,
is
so.
everybody got to see Jack if you're watching the stream.
Oh, see, now everyone's saying, "Oh, Jack, what a cute dog." I can't
No.
believe that Dave doesn't love that dog.
You don't know that dog as I know that dog.
Speaking of dogs, somebody in our neighborhood who is probably, not a regular or somebody like a weekend person is clearly there during the week and had a dog, a big dog, in a very small space.
Ooh.
And it just barked and barked and barked and barked and barked and barked last night.
Yeah, our neighbor has a little yapper, or not a yapper. It's I guess you'd say medium-sized dog.
Okay.
And that thing just, if it sees you, it loves running to the property line just barking for like an hour at a time.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so we now keep a nice little stash of black cats. So anytime Finn's out there, let it up, toss.
Really?
Goes in the house.
Scaring the neighborhood dog.
After a couple years, you kind of get tired of it.
Yeah, I bet. Oh, yeah. I remember this is a long time ago, and I can tell the story because these neighbors don't live in town anymore, many states away. But they had a dog that just barked and barked and barked all the time. And finally, a neighbor went over there and said, "Listen, I work nights, so I need to sleep during the day. Your dog is outside all day long barking." And they're like, "That's not our dog." And they looked over, and the two of them standing together, the dog was right there barking. And he said, "Yeah, that dog. See, look over there. Dog barking. That's your dog."
Yeah.
And she's still, well, our dog doesn't bark. Wait
All
a
dogs
minute.
bark.
Oh, my gosh.
So I don't like dogs.
Oh, Lord.
Jack is the king of barking.
But how can you, when the dog is right there next to you barking, can you say, "Our dog"? That's not our dog. Yep, that's your dog.
I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to call the police. That's obviously a dog that's, wandered off, and it needs to go to the Humane Society.
Yeah. Oh,
Watch
boy.
them change their tune that fast.
Oh, boy. Anyway. All right. Coming up on 10 o'clock. Thank you for joining us on a Tuesday. And our show today and every day is brought to us by Pioneer Care and by Fergus Falls Monument Company. Have a